Where do evil spirits, demons originate in the Bible? It's part of the worldview. It's part of the view of the ancient Near East. It's everywhere. So, it's not something that needs to really originate in the Bible because it's just part of the culture. Um, Now, if you're asking where they came from ontologically, like where do they originate in creation? That's a slightly different question. The earliest we do have mentions of angels and spirits in Torah. Particularly the angels, we do have, I believe, in some mentions of angels in Torah. Do a quick check here. What's the earliest one? In Genesis, we do find angels mentioned. Um, Juan asks, deeper than that, is there lore reason for it? Did God create them? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. Um, it is part of creation. Spirit beings are a part of creation. There's there's a few things. There's a few things we have to kind of understand. Sort of because we're dealing here with high context culture here and high context texts. There's some things that they don't mention in the Bible that are sort of a given in these texts. Um, and one of those things that's understood by the authors of the biblical text that they don't communicate is that creation can't manage itself. Okay, so there's no deistic view in the ancient world. The sort of the God is the divine clockmaker that just winds up the clock and lets it go. That's not something you find in the ancient world. There's In the ancient world, it is believed that creation needs to be sustained. And when you create something, it's not created on its own. It rapidly falls apart. So there are creatures, spirit critters, that are created to support or are, say, a side effect of creation. Okay? Because the idea here is that creation is such a cataclysmic and terrible thing that creation also creates with it spirit entities that are equally powerful, cataclysmic, and work to either support or demolish creation. This is the origin of the chaos monsters. Okay, like Behemoth, Leviathan, Rahab. Okay, so when God created, He did so in such a cataclysmic way that these creatures, these chaos monsters, resulted. Now, as God vanquished chaos monsters, other spiritual beings had to fill in the place to hold up, maintain, support creation. That's where, say, the Council of Gods comes in. What's sometimes called the primordial gods. These are minor spirits that are, um, uh, Cody McGee. I know she was a harlot, but calling Rahab a monster, chaos monster, seems a bit harsh. Not the same Rahab. Okay, Rahab, okay? Just not the same one. That was funny, though, but no, not the same one. Okay. So, as God sort of retreats from creation, as creation falls under the curse and sin, see, spirits sort of fill in the gaps. They fill in where God retreats from to maintain and hold up creation. And that's what they're supposed to do. That's their job. Right? That's their intended function. Some of them will do that faithfully. Some of them won't. And it's the ones that won't that become spirits in rebellion. And this is why, like, for example, certain theologians will say that there was a fall that happened before the fall in Eden. That this is where physical evil originates from. That there was a physical fall, a physical evil that happened as a result of these primordial gods abandoning their first purpose, even before the Garden of Eden. Which explains why there was, say, physical evil in the garden before there was moral evil. So that's sort of the whole cosmology in a nutshell that took place prior to, say, even the Garden of Eden. Is that related to Psalm 82? It's Psalm 82 is a reference to it. Okay, so let's actually take a look at Psalm 82 because it is Psalm 82 specifically isn't talking about it, but it refers to it. We will bring up Psalm 82 here. Okay, God takes his stand. I'll read it here. Probably just no, it's not that long. God takes a stand in his own congregation. He judges in the midst of the rulers. This is Elohim, okay? So these are the minor deities. So there is that reference here to the council of gods, the primordial gods, however you want to put it. But the psalm quickly shifts here. How long will you judge unjustly and show partiality to the wicked? Selah. This is no longer talking about the Elohim. This is talking about earthly judges. Okay? Vindicate the weak and the fatherless, do justice to the afflicted and destitute, rescue the weak and the needy, deliver them out of the hands of the wicked. They do not know, nor do understand. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. Again, their reference. The psalmist is referencing back to that unspoken, say, mythology behind the Bible. Verse 6, and I said, you are gods, and all of you are sons of the Most High. Okay? So, in verse 7, nevertheless, you will die like men. Conversely, there's that positive there. That opposition, that contrast. I said, you are gods and you are sons of the Most High. So the psalmist here is comparing the human judges to being like those, that council of gods. But, contrast, you will die like men and fall like one of the princes. Now, the nevertheless here, that's not a nevertheless, that's surely. Surely. You will die like men and fall like any one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for it is you who does possess all the nations. Okay? So, we do have reference to this background, this mythological background that's part and parcel to the whole creation narrative. Okay? And it's assumed by the biblical writers. But they don't spell it out for you. Because again, it's a high context culture, it's high context texts. It expects you to know this. it's kind of hard for us in the West who are low context readers to really grasp that. But here in Psalm 82, it's talking about that context, but it's applying it to humans and to human judges.